Welcome to the Making of Me podcast, where we explore the defining moments that shape extraordinary people into who they have become. Our today's guest is our Nakia Navarro, author of When the Bar is in Hell, Dating at 40 Entrepreneurs, educator, and a single mother. Across two master's degree, build non-profits, and years of raising her children. One truth kept repeating in Nakia's life. Adversity taught her to create the opportunity she couldn't find. That same resourcefulness that built her career and carried her through the single motherhood eventually met its match in modern dating, an arena where accomplishment alone wasn't enough, and where she would have to apply that same lessons all over again and again. Nakia Navarro, it's really a pleasure and honor having you on the
Thank
show.
you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here. Share my
Yeah,
story.
thank you so much. So, Nakia, before the degrees and the businesses, who were you, and what was the first real adversity that taught you to create rather than just simply wait for an opportunity to appear?
Man, before the everything, I'm NK, Nancy Jean's daughter and Charles Israel's daughter, right? Just trying to be the best daughter I could possibly be and follow all their guidance. That's who I was.
Yeah.
So going to school, working hard, trying to be the best kid possible.
Yeah. Amazing. Thanks so much for sharing. And also, can you walk me through a specific moment where you realize opportunity you needed simply didn't exist and you had to build it yourself?
Yeah. Welcome to my life, right? So
Yeah.
I'll tell you the first time was I was volunteering in a community that had very little resources. And I just said, no, thank you. We're going to figure this out ourselves. And so I started rallying the troops, asking any and everyone, hey, will you help? Will you help? Will you help? And that will you help really secured a lot of attention to build infrastructure in the community that we were working with. And, I got to be honest, that success allowed me to feel very capable, right? So no longer did I have to be someone's wife to be successful or had to be any of the cultural stereotypes that had been pushed on my Black female self. I felt I caught fire, right? I felt like I could do anything. And that's actually when I started my first business, which was an event planning business. And then I also started a Destination Wedding Magazine. And again, that first success really put the fire under me to say, gosh, I can do this. I can pay my own bills by myself. I have everything I need within me.
Yeah, that was really a whole lot. I'm just imagining having to juggle between a whole lot of couples of things while still paying the bills and doing other different things. It's really a whole lot. And also, earning two master's degree while you're raising your children and running business is an enormous undertaking. What adversity during those particular stressors push you to create rather than accept the already laid out?
Yeah. So, all of the challenges of meeting all the deadlines, of keeping a roof over my children's head, it was really like I had no choice but to succeed. Right. So I might have been late several times. I might have missed a whole bunch of deadlines, but I was so like my head down, right? Focused and pushing myself to accomplish these things that when adversity hit, it was kind of, you get that hit on the chin, just kind of shake it off and keep going. And so to offer a more profound answer, I would say that my faith and my belief in myself it was the tether that kept me going. I also, again, come from a very amazing family. So my mom has passed. My grandmother kept saying things like, keep going. My father was always like, just pray about it. You're going to get through it.
Yeah.
This too shall pass. That's what happened today. That's not what happened tomorrow. So, that's a privilege of having people like that who back you. And that's kind of how I kept going and still keep going. Those words of wisdom.
Yeah, this too shall pass. That really got me. It's really amazing. And having one like that, a mom who really cares and keep chipping in the advice every now and then. And faith being very instrumental in those particular seasons. It's really amazing. And also you relocated to secure special care for your youngest son. What did that decision require you to create out of nothing?
Yeah, so I left everything, right? My means of income, my primary means of income was in Massachusetts. My health insurance, everything was in Massachusetts. And my son is losing his eyesight. And so all the doctors in Massachusetts said, there's no cure for this. There's no help for this. And I just refused to believe that man had the final say in my son's care. So I went everywhere to try to find a solution. And I found a doctor in the state I currently live in and just said, all right, well, let's put the house on the market and this too shall pass,
Yeah.
right? Like we gonna drill in and we gonna do it. And so far, so good. The lights are still on, the water is still pumping, and there's still food in the refrigerator. So
Mm.
opportunities just started to abound the moment I kind of closed my human eyes and opened my
Yeah.
soul eyes, right? And his eyesight is not better. We do have some potential and more questions that are being asked, and his care looks better here. I'm happy I made the move.
Yeah.
I'm still having my scary days, and again, I don't think I would have had that sense of, okay, here we go, if it wasn't for how I was raised and my faith. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really amazing. In fact, the more you just keep sharing the experience, it just dawned on me that what did Nakia know differently that just make her disposition about the upside that just different because I'm like having to go through that, putting your house on sale, having to live in a new city with a whole lot of, yeah, it's really a whole lot. And yeah, this too shall come to pass. And the fact that opportunity started abounding the moment you make a decision and moving towards it. It's really amazing. And also building successful non-profit program out from the ground up means constantly facing gap that no one else was filling out. What was the example of the programs or solution you built? Because the resources you needed simply wasn't there.
Yeah, so the nonprofit that I built, it actually started as trying to listen to youth. I felt that especially Black youth did not have space to say what they needed and someone to actually listen to what they had to say and act on it. So the whole idea behind the nonprofit I started was to listen and to act. So if kids said, "Hey, listen, I'd love to make change in my community," great. Let's organize. Let's do it. And then let me give you some seed funding to get it off the ground. So it was a hit. A lot of people at first were like, "So what do you do?" And I would say, "I listen and then I fund." Right? But I'm not a funder. I'm an organizer.
Yeah.
And so it was hard at first because people just couldn't wrap their brains around actually listen to youth and allowing them
Yeah.
to lead and then funding what they had to say. It was like, what? What are you talking about? And I was like, these babies have everything they need. If we could just take a step back and let them be great, watch how this world would change. Right? Adults can't stand at the front all the time because
Yeah.
we're going to die one day and these babies need to know how to move. So that's how it started. And then COVID happened and the baby said, "NK, we need some food." And I was like, well, you know how to grow it because I taught hydroponics and environmental justice as a professional, as a teacher. I was like, you know how to grow this food. Let's go. And so we started a food program. And the food program was rough at first, meaning like we were just getting anything that was
Yeah.
donated. And the family said, no, we want good food. And I said, you know what? You're right. Let's get good food. So we started growing the food. We started talking to farmers. And then we said, produce. We only want to do produce. A lot of our families like halal meat. They don't eat pork. And we were getting a lot of those non-halal, non-cultural good meat portions. And I was like, well, we don't even need that. Let's have a vegetarian-based food distribution program. And it was one of the few that was offered at the community in the time. And I said, let's give it to the poorest, not people who could maybe pay for it, but
Yeah.
folks who absolutely cannot.
Yeah.
And the students loved that. At one time, we had like 300 college and high school students that just would show up. They got word of mouth and they would just show up and they pack bags without complaint. And we did a service where all of them would then drop them off at the homes. So neighbor to neighbor, right? And it was beautiful and it was great. And then I started a school based off of that work, centered around hydroponics and a grocery store that again was centered around making sure our fresh produce got to the hands that absolutely needed it. So people who, were with child, diabetics, families that had different need, kids at home that, it's hard going to the grocery store if your baby is severely autistic. That's a hard day, right? It's too much sensory. So trying to make sure that folks had those things. And again, moving by what I know, right? My mom used to drop off food. My uncles used to go to farms, pick extra, and just literally would spend the whole day just dropping off peaches, grapefruit, etc., to families that they knew was going through some things, right? So I don't take credit for any of that work because that's how I was raised. If you can, you do,
Yeah.
right? This whole
Yeah.
community understanding is what I stand on. So yeah, I just kind of battled down and said, okay, this is what I'm doing. I didn't ask for permission. I did what I knew I could do.
Yeah, this is really amazing. And the fact that, yeah, the organizing having to have a whole lot of school kids around, and the fact that they voluntarily give themselves to it in their numbers, that really got me. I was like, what? How did she did it? That was such kind of numbers. We were able to put them all along. And it's really amazing. And thank you so much for what you are doing. And also you said you believe our success in one area of life will naturally translate to the success in relationship. How did that belief hold up once you started dating again?
My goodness. So through all this organizing, I was very successful at that work
Yeah,
that I just shared with you, but I
yeah,
couldn't keep a relationship to save my life. My goodness, just horrendous experience in dating. And that's why I wrote the book, When the Bar is in Hell. So I would, meet people and they'd say exactly what you just said. Oh my goodness, that's amazing that you did that work. Oh, and you're beautiful too. And, we should date or we should go out, right? So I would have those things, and then when we go out, maybe one date, maybe two date, then that would be it,
yeah,
right? And so it just didn't, the skill set just didn't translate. And for forever, I just couldn't understand why. Like, what's wrong with me? Or why is it that I'm successful that they're upset that I'm successful? Or, I had guys say things like, I travel too much. Or in a room, I'd walk in and people would say, oh, that's NK. And they would come over and talk to me. So now people are talking to me
yeah,
about the work. I'm the center of attention.
yeah,
And it's like, oh, you were trying to be the center of attention. I
yeah,
just walked in the room, right?
yeah,
So I had a lot of guys tell me I was bad news bears because of the attention I got, of how much I traveled. And then I became bad news bears, right? So I overtalked men and my ego was so big. And it was like, I'm going to reject this man before he has a chance to reject me. So now I started living and dating with that trauma at the forefront and not allowing myself to even trust or dig in. Yeah.
that was really a whole lot. I'm just imagining more like being the more like, how will I say, center of attraction, the center of the rooms, and having to date and a whole lot of suspicion. Say, oh, I think we just came here to talk alone, and here you already become center of attraction to every person all around it. It's
Yeah.
really a
So
whole
if
lot.
you're not secure in yourself, that might be a
Yeah,
rough day at the
yeah.
office for you,
So
right?
true. Yeah. And also when you met the man you call out fire, you discover insecurity you didn't know you carried out. Did your instinct to create the opportunity show up in how you tried to make the relationship work and when it wasn't reciprocated? Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about Fire. Fire. So Fire met him and he started knocking down all these walls that I had very carefully constructed to keep everyone away, right? So to not get hurt. And he was naming them and pushing them down and
Yeah.
making room for himself. And I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, hold up. Whoa, you're moving too fast. You're doing too much, right? I'm supposed to be in charge.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to tell you how to move.
Mm.
Right. And he wanted no part of that because as you are a man, sometimes y'all men like to lead. A lot of times y'all like to lead and tell, right? Not receive the telling. And so he really checked my ego. He really caused me to think, wait a minute, I am over talking him. I'm not making space for him to lead. I'm not even allowing him to be a man. Like I've already opened the door and he was trying to
Yeah.
get there to open the door. Like I'm moving so fast. Right. And so the rubber met the road when, here we are on this date and he can't even get a word in. He's talking, I'm talking over him. Right. I'm not even listening to what he has to say. I'm talking over him. And he says, I'm not going to do this. And I'm like, not going to do what? And I'm not going to have a relationship with you because I can't be me. I can't show up. What you mean? Right. And so then he starts explaining and so I apologize. And then I give him a timeline on when he needs to get over what I have done to him. And then I get upset that he hasn't, you still mad about this? You see me? I'm fine. I'm everything you need. Right. And he
Yeah.
was like, absolutely not with all of that. You need to work on that. And I'm not waiting for you to fix it. And so that then opened up a whole lot of moments for me to need to be accountable with my foolishness. Right. And understanding where I'm at right now in my growth is I'm single because of me. Sure, of course, there have been some men who have been rude and, my ex cheated and all of those things. But I find that in every relationship, I made the space for those things. I chose these men. I chose to continue to be in a relationship with him. I chose to show up the way I did. So, it takes two people to be in a relationship,
Yeah.
and I'm at the moment of I need to be accountable for my actions and all.
Yeah, learning to be accountable for. Yeah, every of those particular decisions and everything that actually comes into it. Yeah, it's really a whole lot, and a whole lot of having to sit with yourself and analyzing a whole lot of stuff, having to learn and unlearn from it. Yeah, it's a lot. And also writing when the bar is in hell, turn a personal humbling season into a book meant to help others. What opportunity do you create out of that heartbreak that didn't exist before?
Again, looking myself in the mirror and being honest at what I see, not what the makeup shows me, right? So that's why I wrote the book. I want other people to laugh. I want people to
Yeah.
cringe. I want people to realize that, there is a fire out there, and don't be dumb like me and mess it up
Yeah.
with yourself. I'm still single. Fire doesn't want anything romantically to do with me. And that hurts a lot because I sure don't want to be single. Right. And so my point is that that's the learning, to really look in the mirror and say, you know what, I probably should let him speak, or I probably, whatever, whoever you are
Yeah.
interested in romantically, I probably should let that person show up fully and not take so much space, check ego, and offer some humility into your daily interactions, because I surely didn't.
Yeah. 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 Shut down ego and give up space. And this is really a whole lot and a whole lot to learn from. So looking back at the young woman now, first learning that adversity could turn her into opportunity. If you could talk to your younger self, what would you want her to know about the author, the entrepreneur she eventually becomes?
I would say to my younger self, you're beautiful, regardless of the haters. You're beautiful inside and out. Listen to your gut all the time, every day. If your gut, if your inner divine is telling you don't do it, Nakia, don't do it. NK, run. Listen to your spirit. It's there for a reason. And that's what I would say. You're beautiful. Listen to your gut. You have everything you need.
Yeah, you're beautiful. Listen to your God. And I think that's a very big something that a whole lot of persons need to learn, in that sometimes we ignore those particular feelings and how to return back onto them again when everything is set and done. And listen to your God. And it's amazing. So what would be your advice for accomplished women navigating dating after 40s? What is the biggest misconception that they carry into it based on their success in other areas of their life?
Yeah, I would say to accomplished women, listen, it's great that that's what you do professionally.
Yeah.
But when you are at home and dating someone, right, that's a different skill set that we have to lean into. And I would say to a lot of professional women who want to date, who are single, that love is real. Fire exists, right? It's just you gotta make sure you're soft. I know what it's like to be in a space where it's very male dominated and people think you're the secretary, or in my situation, I've had people say, "Oh, you're so pretty. Why are you here?" Like they can't even understand that myself can be here in whatever decision-making room because of me. I must be here to support the decision making. Right? And I got the job because of this face that some people think is pretty. You get where I'm going? Like, that's how people approach me. Honestly, I'm the eye candy. I couldn't have a good thought worth merit, right? So I would say that's the truth. And when you come home and when you're dealing with a potential partner, you got to leave that outside. And that truly is the lesson, right? You got to leave that outside and figure out who you are wholly when trying to figure out a potential partner. That it's not a business deal. He's not a business deal.
Yeah, it's not a business deal. Who are you? And the whole of it. And I think it really given that, we live in a man-dominated world and businesses demand this kind of traits to actually be successful in it. And knowing when to put the guard down, it's really the key so that you can be able to sustain your relationship while putting it on again as you go out there with your businesses. Yeah, amazing. So lastly, after everything you have been through, what is the central lessons you hope your readers take from your stories about love, vulnerability, and believing we have life all figured out?
Laugh at yourself. Laugh at the situation. You might laugh and cry, but just laugh. Make space for that humor. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be horrible. Laugh. That's the lesson, to laugh. And it's okay. I'm telling you, tomorrow's going to come. It's okay. Yeah.
It's okay, and tomorrow is gonna come. And also, just the way you make reference of it earlier, which is this too shall come to pass. And yeah, keep working at it. It's really amazing, and thank you so much for sharing your heart with us on the making of
Thank you
me.
for having me.
So, for my audience who would love to reach out to you, either for your book, to connect with you on various other platforms, or that of your non-profit organization, how can they reach out, and where is the best platform?
Yeah, you can go to my website, nknavarro.com, or you can go to TikTok. I'm there, author NK Navarro. I have tons of books. When the Bar is in Hell is my newest book, or my latest book. I have 2 coming out this fall and then winter, early 2027. And then I also have children's books. So whatever you need, I got it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Again,
yeah, amazing.
nknavarro.com.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nakia. Thank you for showing us that the same resourcefulness that builds successes and the great can turn towards healing a broken heart, and even when the far harder kind of creating. And for more things who love to reach out, check the show notes to see the link to easily reach out on that of our social media. From a woman who built opportunity out of every gap life handed over to her, to an author turning heartbreak into humor, honesty, and hard and wisdom. Yeah, you're a proof that adversity doesn't just test us, it teaches us how to build something new every single time. Once again, it's a pleasure and honor having you on the show.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. I
Yeah, thank
welcome
you.
all of the energy you just pushed. I appreciate it. Thank you.